2, and 1. Welcome into the WKYC.com digital pregame show. I am Ben Axelrod. Joining me is Nick Camino. Just about, let's do the math here, 35 minutes to go until kickoff between your Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC wildcard round at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Nick, 18 years in the making here. The Cleveland Browns are about to play in a playoff game.
Can't believe it. There's part of me that's it's surreal. I remember that game that they played. It was the 2002 season, but the calendar just flipped. It was 2003, and you never think that it's going to be this long until they get back to it. But what an unbelievable turnaround for this team. The franchise, the head coach has done a great job, and Kevin Stefanski, and you got to give credit to Baker Mayfield and how he's kind of been able to guide this team. So it's amazing. I can't believe it's taken this long, but I do think it teaches us, Ben, if anything, don't take these opportunities for granted. Don't take these things like they're going to happen next year. So, we'll kind of see what happens tonight, but wow, what a turnaround for the Browns. And I think we have a lot to be excited about going forward.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. You hope this is the start of something. You hope this season is, a building block and a baseline. But I'm sure if we get in a time machine and go back to 2003, people were probably feeling pretty good about Kelly Holcomb and William Green and Dennis Northcutt and the whole crew. And, 18 years later, here we are getting ready to watch the Browns in a playoff game for the first time
Ben,
since then. So.
Ben, 18 years later, Butch Davis is the head coach at FIU.
Yeah. He's one of the few still in football from that team. So, just, 2 decades really when you look at it, crazy. But here we are. The 2020 season, 2021, the Cleveland Browns getting ready to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, it wouldn't be a Cleveland Browns playoff game without some unique circumstances. And obviously this NFL season in general has been more unique than anyone before it with everything going on with the coronavirus pandemic. The Browns enter this game now, not only down 5 players, but down their head coach, Kevin Stefanski. He will not be coaching in this game. Mike Prefer, the special teams coordinator, will be serving as the Browns acting head coach. Nick, just your thoughts on the Browns going into this game without Kevin Stefanski, who's obviously played such a pivotal role in this team's turnaround this season.
Yeah, it's really tough, Ben. I mean, the fact that he has been such a big part of calling plays and just being that calm, prepared influence on the sidelines, you can't say enough how much he'll be missed. And that's not to take anything away from Mike Prefer. He's done this before. He had to do it one time when Mike Zimmer had eye surgery when he was with the Minnesota Vikings. It's not to take anything away from him. I think he'll be fine. But this is really a tough spot for the Browns, Ben. And I'm not even looking at the fact that they're an underdog. They're what, a 5.5 or 6 point underdog. It's just that the circumstances leading in. No Denzel Ward. The offensive line, it sounds like Conklin's going to give it a go, but the offensive line is missing a guy like Petonio. And that O-line has done such a great job this season in opening up running lanes for the running backs and protecting Baker. They don't get talked about enough. So really some key parts are missing. I think this is a really tough spot for the Browns. Certainly, I think they have a chance to win, Ben. Anything can happen. It's the NFL playoffs. We've seen all these games have been close besides that Saints-Bears game. So I think the Browns, they obviously have a shot, but this is going to be really tough. You're playing a team for the 3rd time. It's going to be a tough night for them, I think.
Yeah, we talked a week ago after the Browns beat the Steelers to clinch this playoff spot, and obviously that game had unique circumstances. The Steelers sat, a bunch of their starters: Ben Roethlisberger, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward. They really were playing a lot of backups in that game, but. Yeah. You look at the Steelers; they lose 4 of their last 5 games in the regular season. This is a beatable team. This is not a Steelers team coming in to the playoffs playing their best ball. Obviously, with a quarterback as old as Ben Roethlisberger, you worry about what he looks like at this point in the season in a cold weather game. But, aside from Kevin Stefanski missing this game, which I think, at the end of the day, he was able to work with the team in its preparations heading into the week, although the Browns were really only able to get 1 real practice under their belt, and it was on Friday. I worry almost more about the players who are missing this game, namely Denzel Ward and Kevin Johnson. I mean, those are 2 of your top 3 cornerbacks in a secondary that isn't very good when it's at full strength. So you take that and couple it with the Steelers receiving core that's as dynamic as Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool, James Washington. I mean, that's about as good of a foursome of wide receivers as you're going to see all season. So, look, I still think there are ways the Browns can get after it, and there are paths to the Browns winning this game. But without Kevin Stefanski, without Joel Bitonio, without Kevin Johnson and Denzel Ward, man, their margin for error, I think, is just so slim heading into tonight.
Yeah, and that's my worry. You talked about those receivers they have, and even Big Ben will toss it to Ebron too, the tight end. It's like he's got so many different weapons he can go to. I think the Steelers are really going to try to emulate what they did that worked so well in Week 7. I think they're going to try and turn this game into a track meet that the Browns just can't keep up with. While I think you're going to kind of see the Browns go for more ball control, run the ball, control the clock. But that is my concern, those wideouts. The one thing you bring up, though, and I probably should have mentioned this before when I said it's going to be tough for the Browns tonight. You're right. The Steelers get out to this 11-0 start, and now they've dropped 4 of 5, and I won't include last week's game. But before that, they lose to the Washington football team. They lose to the Bills, and I don't follow the Steelers enough, so I don't know. It did seem, though, like something was just kind of missing from this team, and then people started looking at their schedule, how they started 11-0, that you could kind of poke holes in every situation. There was a team that had COVID. There was a team that was, hadn't won a game yet. I mean, there were some flaws in the record. I think the Browns have benefited from that too. But I do think that something has changed with the Steelers team where at least they appear to be beatable then when they're all systems go.
Yeah, I think so too. And one thing, I think we saw last week, and I think this is what's really interesting to watch from the Browns' perspective, is in that first half, the Browns were really able to get Nick Chubb going. And then we saw in the second half them kind of pull back. And there obviously, a lot of tweets, a lot of questions from fans, people like us saying, hey, why are you going away from Nick Chubb? And I think when Kevin Stefanski was answering questions about that, he kind of alluded to the fact that he, knew that the Browns might be playing again this week and wanted to keep Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both fresh heading into a postseason game. And then 2, he had it in the back of his mind that he knew that the Browns could be playing the Steelers again. And obviously that's a dangerous game, especially when you only win that game by 2 points. But I do think, the Browns were able to find some things with Nick Chubb and Cam Hayward and TJ Watt weren't playing, but I'm really interested to see just what this offensive attack looks like. Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, he'll be calling the plays for Kevin Stefanski. But I do think, when the Browns lost to the Steelers, I think it was back in October, that was a Browns team that really had not found its footing yet. This Browns team, especially in offense, they found their footing. But again, you take Kevin Stefanski out of it. That's why you just got to feel like the margin for error, there's just less pathways for the Browns to win tonight's game.
Well, yeah, and the thing I don't want to see them do, you want to see, Chubb get like 40 carries. It'd be great to see him, just be a workhorse. That means you're controlling the clock, you're moving the football. You can mix in Hunt here and there where you have to. He's done a great job too. The thing I don't want to see, and Baker's done a great job, but I don't want to see them get too pass happy tonight, Ben. I mean, I feel like if you're trying to whip it around the field tonight in 25-degree weather, I don't know how well that's going to go. So, you don't want to get into a track meet with this team because I don't think you can keep up. So just play your game. Make them play your style. We saw, and I know they weren't very good this year because things have changed there, but we saw the New England Patriots over the years force teams to play your style, and teams couldn't play that way. That's what the Browns got to try to do today.
And conversely, I agree with you. I think the Browns have to keep the game in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt's hands. I think they have to be creative in that sense. On the flip side, I don't think you can win a playoff game on the road against a team like the Steelers without your quarterback making some plays.
Absolutely.
The Browns are going to have to, give Baker Mayfield some opportunities. And I thought that was, in the second half last week, the Browns, they leaned on Baker Mayfield, whether it was through the air or on the ground. They were creative in allowing Baker to get out there and make some plays. I think they're going to have to pick their spots here a little bit more just because you do have Cam Hayward and TJ Watt back in the lineup for the Steelers. But I think this is, a really, really interesting test and kind of a milestone moment in Baker Mayfield's career heading into Heinz Field here, Sunday Night Football on the road in a wild card game.
Yes. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't think Baker's going to have to throw a pass. He's going to have to throw. I mean, there's going to be a 3rd and 11 where he's going to have to make a pass. There's going to be a 3rd and 12 where he's going to have to roll out of the pocket and make a play. You're going to need him tonight. There's no doubt. You just hope that those stable running backs can really be your workhorses tonight for sure.
My key for this game, I think, you talked about the Steelers and how they kind of pulled their foot off the gas. toward the end of the season. I thought we saw them really do that with Chase Claypool, their talented rookie wide receiver. He looked like one of the best receivers in the NFL in October, not just a rookie, just one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. It seemed like they really kind of reined him in. And I do wonder if maybe they were, preventing him from hitting a rookie wall. And now they're kind of all systems go here in the postseason. So to me, defensively, at least, my key for the Browns is keeping Chase Claypool in check, because I think, the Steelers' running game is not that good. James Conner's really kind of regressed this season. They kind of get their running game going through a shorter passing game. If the Browns can rein in Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, I think they have a better chance for success. What are you keeping your eye on here tonight?
Yeah, I think my big key will be that defensive side of the football. We've talked a lot about the defensive backs. I just think, and all year long I could harp on it. I'm not kicking them. It is what it is. Their linebackers, Ben, they've just been – it's been a struggle. I mean, they don't tackle well. They don't stop the run well. They don't go in coverage very well. I'm worried about that linebacking core because the defensive backs, as you mentioned, are going to have their hands full trying to cover those receivers. And if those receivers are going deep, all of a sudden you need those linebackers to be able to come up on the run. So that's my concern. Big key is the Browns defense. You got to be able to contain these receivers. If you can do that, you'll have a chance tonight. If not, I think it could become a track meet that the Browns are going to have a hard time keeping up in.
This is the last postseason game of the weekend. The Browns know if they win, they're heading to Arrowhead Stadium next week to face the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions. So, the Browns win this week. We could be looking toward a really fun week, another rematch between old college rivals Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think when they played each other at Texas Tech and Oklahoma, threw for like 790 yards or something, or 800 yards. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously the Browns have their workout to get to that point, but just some housekeeping here. The game's airing on WKYC Channel 3, Sunday Night Football. We will have you covered throughout the game on WKYC.com. We'll have you covered after the game with what's next, as well as Sports Tonight, as well as on WKYC.com throughout the week, win or lose. So that's going to do it for us, Nick. Thanks for joining us. This is I think we're kind of on the same page. Maybe we shouldn't pick this game, but I think we get a fun one here tonight.
I hope you're right, Ben. I'm just thankful we don't have to talk about head coaching searches and general managers right now.
Absolutely. Win or lose, a very normal offseason ahead, hopefully. So that's going to do it for myself and